The infinite Brahma is everywhere, in everything, in everyone. There is no one outside of that divinity. There is nothing outside of that one eternal being. This universe, manifest and unmanifest, is non-dual. Within the play of this non-dual consciousness, within the preview of this awakened awareness, divine, omniscient intelligence of the infinite Brahma, there arises the play of creation. And the relative universe of form and manifestation. So that which is eternal, pure, unchanging, immortal, appears in the dance of creation to be the multiple forms and colors of this universe, to be the endless flow of creative expression, the rise of form, the sustaining form, and the dissolution of form. That is the nature of the created universe. This creative process occurs within the body of the infinite, so that though form in the relative universe appears to be distinguished one from the other, though there are senses, and in form, identity of consciousness with form, the actual form itself is but a covering on the face of that which is eternal. It has no substance outside of what is given it by its substant existence within conscious awareness. So you are a conscious being. You have awakened awareness more than a rock, though a rock is also the vital living expression of the supreme divinity. It is the expression of that infinite intelligent awareness, but that intelligence is bound so much by the gunas, by the forces of nature, that it is bound in a slumber, not recognizing its own nature. You, as an evolving being, have evolved beyond the slumber in a rock. You have the capacity to know yourself and to know others. You have the capacity to be conscious, aware. But your consciousness is linked with form. And so it appears, living in a body, that you are separate from everything else and everyone else, that you are an individual. And this individuality is defined by the body and the mind in association with the body. The intelligent, aware consciousness that you are sees itself through this lens and identifies as I am. I am as opposed to other. This identity, this sense of duality, of self and other, this becomes the cause of suffering. Out of this sense of ego meaning identity of conscious awareness, intelligent awareness with the body and mind, with the sensory experience, the belief comes that you are separate. And you see the form, but you do not see the nature of form. You do not see your own nature when you look through the senses of a body and through the perspective of embodiment. Only when you sink very deeply into your embodiment, when you open your heart, your feelings to a wider universe, to more subtle realms of being, besides the physical and mental realms, you begin to see that there is consciousness, there is creativity, there is love, and that there is something eternal, immortal in being, something that is beyond the senses and the body. You know as a fact, because you have lived in this world, that physical forms rise, they birth into the world, and then they dissolve. It takes a long time for a rock or a mountain to dissolve, but eventually it does. But human life is very short. The life of an ant, shorter still. Yet, there is consciousness. You are aware, you feel. If somebody insults you, you are hurt. If somebody rejects you, you are hurt. If you smash your finger, it physically hurts. If something wonderful happens in your life, you feel joy. You can feel. You're awake, you're aware. But because your awareness is merged into the body and the senses, you are in a condition of suffering. Because all that you attach yourself through to in the senses, all the forms you attach to, ultimately change and will move away, will flow from one to another. And in your desire to find survival, immortality in the physical form, you are ultimately thwarted. In the physical body there is a desire to live, that desire dominates. It keeps you alive, but it also binds you in searching for that which will enhance your life and rejecting anything that threatens you or makes you unhappy or uncomfortable. And so you are grasping and you are fearing, grasping and fearing, and ultimately grasping to stay alive, to survive, because your awareness, your consciousness is identified with form. And this is a condition of suffering, because you cannot win this efforting to always have what you want, what makes you in your form personally thrive, and stave off illness, disappointment, losses. You can't staff it off forever. Some people's lives are very good. They have much joy and greatness in their life. Other lives are very difficult. But whether your life is one that has been blessed with a great deal of joy and happiness, or whether you have had a life of struggle and pain, the same holds true. You are bound in form when consciousness, when your sense of self is identified with form. You are bound in a condition that ultimately leads to disappointment and pain and death. These bodies do not last. The yogis of ancient time realized this dilemma of human existence and recognized there must be something more to life. And they brought themselves to realization that there is another realm, there is another aspect of being, that by deeply concentrating on the nature of the self in contemplation and meditation, one can come to realize that there is immortal being, that there is a flow of grace and divinity, a great love that can be connected with in this mortal form. Some people call it God. Some people call it the universe. Some people call it the Sadguru, the One. Whatever way the One presents, you meet the Beloved, the Great One, and as you come to surrender and know that Great One, you see that that one is vast, eternal, immortal. And so people have religions and they worship the God, they worship the Great One, they worship the infinite Brahma, they worship the Christ, the Buddha, and they put all of their store into the worship of the One, recognizing the vastness and the greatness of the One. But that alone does not resolve the human condition, because you are still in your situation until you recognize that that beloved of your heart, that Bhava, that Ma, that Great One, that God is in you and in all of creation. And the sublime, subtle state achieved in meditation of non-dual understanding is not something to be held in a high state. It's something that is the reality of all existence, whether it is in pure being or in ordinary daily life. With those who have eyes to see, who have recognized that God is not a man in some high heaven. God is all around you, within you, omniscient, eternal being, a love that is unconditional, permeates all existence. And you experience freedom. Because when you really realize this, and you realize there is no separation between you and God, no separation between you and Satguru, no separation between you and your Bhava, your Ma, then you come to realize that there is one, and surrender all of the ideas and beliefs that you've had about who you are at the lotus feet of that infinite essence. Surrendering fully, there is no you separate from that one. There is no you apart from that one. There is no self and other, no place you are or are not. Being is eternal, immortal. The separation of self and other is an illusion. When this surrender to the unitary heart of all being comes, the mind clears of the fog, the illusion, and the truth of reality is seen. When this happens, you are not separate. The experiences of unity come and go, but the knowledge of the non-dual nature of existence may remain permanently. And as that knowledge grows in magnitude, as your surrender of all of your beliefs dissolves, you realize the infinite Brahma is in your body. The infinite Brahma is in every cell of your body, in your mind, in your heart. There is nothing separate from your beloved. And when you realize this, you know there is nothing to run towards, nothing to run away from. Pain and pleasure, like shadow and light, are two sides of the same coin. And when this realization comes, you are freed from the grasping for life and the fearing of death. You are freed from the grasping to acquire and the fear of losing. Because loss, sorrow, pain, joy, happiness, they are the same. They are all colors in the mind of the infinite. A dream in the mind of the great dreamer. And when this steadiness of mind comes, where the eternal, non-dual nature of all that is remains steady in your mind, then peace comes, true peace, because you do not have to run after and you do not have to fear. A yogi, recognizing this, becomes fearless, for love divine is everywhere, always. Establish yourself in this knowledge. Ground yourself in it. Free yourself from the bondages of grasping and fearing, of struggling and for success and fearing failure. Free yourself from this. Live in the deeper stratum of existence, where there is one true nature. You can be in this world, act in this world, live in this world of form, without living in ignorance, without living in pain. For the real pain is not the pain of the loss or the pain of the ill health. The real pain is the pain associated with believing that that can hurt you. That somehow that is real and you will suffer with it. It is only a relative reality, and this substantive reality, this solid base under all creation, is a truth that does not go away. It is solid. That is the rock of your existence. Become steady in that knowledge. Apply it throughout your day, always recognizing all this is the form of love, transforming into multiple forms. It is the form of truth, transforming into the dance of creation. But the dance is only played on the screen of the mind. Underneath it is the substantive reality which never changes. This is not a foreign concept. This is a truth that is natural to you. It is only because of identity with the sensory experience and thus the ego, the sense of separate self, that this truth is not seen by many. For they dream the dream and suffer in the dream. See the dream, be in the dream, but you don't have to leave the dream. You can be awake in the dream. This is the great knowledge that the yogis of the East discovered, and many people throughout the world discovered, and thus have found their peace and the love and the home that is lasting. All right? Namaskar.